The drawback is one never really knows one's hosts and hostesses. One gets to know their fox terriers and their chrysanthemums, and whether the story about the go-kart can be turned loose in the drawing-room, or must be told privately to each member of the party for fear of shocking public opinion. But one's host and hostess are a sort of human hinterland that one never has the time to explore. There was a fellow I stayed with once in Warwickshire who farmed his own land, but was otherwise quite steady. Should never have suspected him of having a soul. Yet not very long afterwards he eloped with a lion-tamer's widow and set up as a golf instructor somewhere on the Persian Gulf. Dreadfully immoral, of course, because he was only an indifferent player. But still it showed imagination.
There ends the dream. I have related it in the past tense, but the present would be the fitter form, for again and again the sombre tragedy reenacts itself in my consciousness. Over and over I lay the plan, I suffer the confirmation, I redress the wrong. Then all is blank, and afterward the rains beat against the grimy window panes, or the snows fall upon my scant attire, the wheels rattle in the squalid streets, where my life lies in poverty and mean employment. If there is ever sunshine, I do not recall it. If there are birds, they do not sing.
To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. A robin redbreast in a cage puts all heaven in a rage. A dove-house filled with doves and pigeons shudders hell through all its regions. A dog starved at his master's gate predicts the ruin of the state. A horse misused upon the road calls to heaven for human blood.
The Pobble who has no toes had once as many as we. When they said, "Some day you may lose them all," he replied, "Fish, fiddle-de-dee." And his Aunt Jobiska made him drink lavender water tinged with pink, for he said, "The world in general knows there's nothing so good for a Pobble's toes." The Pobble who has no toes swam across the Bristol Channel, but before he set out he wrapped his nose in a piece of scarlet flannel. For his Aunt Jobiska said, no harm can come to his toes if his nose is warm, and it's perfectly known that a Pobble's toes are safe, provided he minds his nose.
A moment later it was there, standing in the double doorway, crouching a little and staring at us with a hatred that was mad and sick, the hatred of a sick animal, crazy with unhappiness, but loathing us more than its own misery. Slowly it came towards us, and to my reeling fancy all the room seemed to stink of caraway seed. "Keep back! Keep away!" my uncle screamed. I became oddly in my turn the protector. "It shan't touch you! It shan't touch you, uncle!" I cried. But the animal came on. It stayed for a moment near a little round table that contained a composition of dead wax and fruit under a glass dome. It stayed here, its nose down, smelling the ground. Then, looking up at us, it came on again. Oh, God, even now as I write, after all these years, it is with me again. The flat skull, the cringing body in its evil colour, and that loathsome smell.